Good Tuesday morning, everybody. For those of you who are operating under the new calendar of this day, that day, and the other day, this day is actually Tuesday. On today's program, we'll talk to Matthew Nestor, the president of People First of Morgantown. Matthew makes beautiful jewelry as a hobby, and we'll find out what kind of jewelry he makes and how he got started. That's all coming up in a few minutes. But first, we want to remind you that we keep our information constantly updated, both on the page you're watching now, People First of West Virginia, and on our website, www.peoplefirstwv.org.
That's right, Liz. The information changes daily and sometimes hourly, whether it is from the federal government or Governor Jim Justice or the local health department. We keep a list of links to all of the most updated information straight from the source, so you don't have to rely on what someone heard. You will get the right information from the CDC, Social Security, IRS, West Virginia Department of Education, State Health Department, etc.
And we're also concerned with your physical and mental health and safety. You may have been doing okay up till now, but as the days continue to go by, it might start to feel overwhelming. So while we certainly want you to stay home and safe and keep washing your hands, make sure you do things to relax and take your mind off things. If you do need help, there are links for WV211 from the United Way, Help for West Virginia, and other agencies that you can call in your area if you have any mental health concerns.
And so you don't have to listen to a whole program to find a favorite interview or the mindfulness or the music. We have a section below on the links page for those things that are separated out so you can enjoy them whenever you like. But now it's time for today's interview. Well, this morning we are talking with Matthew Nestor. He is the president of People First of Morgantown, and we're talking to different members around the state of the different groups, partially about People First and their involvement, but also about what they're doing to keep busy and keep the mind off all this stuff going on as we have to stay home and stay safe, because the first few days are okay, but people are getting tired. So thank you very much, Matthew. I know that this is something that you do all the time, even if you're not told to stay home and stay safe. Talk about what's your hobby.
I like doing jewelry, and I write letters and stuff like that, too. I do jewelry on Fridays. I make jewelry and sell it on my jewelry page, MJs Jewelry.
Now, it's a public group, so if people are interested, we can give them the link to that. What type of jewelry do you make? Some people make necklaces, some people make pendants. What kind of jewelry do you make?
I make necklaces out of plastic string, and I do earrings as well.
What you do is beautiful. I hope people will go to MJs Jewelry and check it out. It's also really cool. I've never seen things with these perler beads like you've done them. And then the mugs that you've done. What inspired you to get into doing this kind of stuff?
Actually, I was at work where I used to work. I worked at Valley Healthcare out in Reedsville, and I didn't have nothing else to do. So one day they showed me some beads, and I told them that I wanted to try it. So I tried it, and that's how I got started into the jewelry business.
Well, these things are gorgeous, I know. So you do this on Fridays, and what inspires you to make what you make each Friday?
Actually, sometimes I do my stuff outside. I like doing stuff outside and inside, but I've been doing a lot of stuff inside here recently because of the weather and the COVID-19 stuff and things like that. So I've been kind of staying indoors to keep myself busy.
Talk about your inspiration for the different kinds, because some of them are more jewel-like, some of them have more of a pattern and a color scheme, or some of them more, I see one that's like a keychain that has basketball or sports related. How do you decide what you're going to make? What inspires you to make each different kind?
I use my brain to kind of just, some of the stuff I make the first time I did this kind of stuff, I made my own pattern out of my head and stuff like that. And sometimes I go onto different websites and see if there's any different patterns I can use. But the first one I did was I basically did a pattern out of my head, and then that's how I got started doing the patterns. And one of my staff that I have here, her name's Beth, and she taught me basically how to use patterns and things like that.
I like that you have such a wide variety. I think the sports one with the basketball that Doug was talking about is really cute, and there are great gift ideas for different people. Yeah, I really like, you have some black and gold and then some gray tone jewelry that is just really beautiful. I think you have a good eye for it.
Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of people comment on my jewelry page website, and everybody that I've talked to, I've sent pieces of jewelry to people by mail too, and they've wrote me back or texted me back and said they enjoyed that kind of stuff.
And I do have to say, your prices are very reasonable.
Yeah, I don't want to make it too expensive.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, tell us what else you've been doing. The jewelry that you make is beautiful, and the keychains and the mugs. What else have you been doing to keep yourself busy when people are stuck home a little more?
Doing a lot of conference calls with People First and other groups, and with Rescue, the agency I'm with, and things like that. I've been doing a lot of conference calls using Messenger to contact people that way. And I've been writing a lot of letters.
Good. Like to friends?
Yes. People I went to school with, people I graduated with, and things like that. So
that's a great idea during this. And I know I like to get letters in the mail. I know other people do. Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your involvement with People First and what you're currently doing at People First.
Well, I'm the president of People First out of Morgantown. One of the things that we're going to be doing after this COVID-19 thing is over is we're going to be making apple butter, I believe. We're going to be doing that sometime after this COVID-19 thing is over. We did a lot of meetings over the phone. It's not very easy sometimes doing meetings over the phone, but I can do those type of things.
Right. It's not the same.
No.
But it's a great way to keep in touch.
Yeah.
While you're on that subject, talk a little bit about some of your other fundraisers. I know that some of the groups try and raise money to go places and do things, and Morgantown's group has been very successful at doing local fundraisers. And while we certainly want to do a statewide fundraiser, if the local group wants to do something to go someplace, what type of success have you had with the fundraisers that you've done?
One of the fundraisers that we did was like a candy sale. It really went really well and things like that. So if anybody would be interested, I would suggest to that group or that member, if they would be interested in doing that kind of thing, is get on board with somebody that's already did it so that person can explain to them how they did it and things like that.
That sounds like an invitation to call People First in Morgantown and ask how they were successful. You want people to call you, Matthew? We don't want to just assume that. Is that what you'd like, to have people call and because I know you also did a successful thing with gift baskets around Christmas.
We do gift baskets, and we was going to do a rocking chair, but I'm not sure if we're going to be doing that this year or not.
And what is your group use the money that you raise for, Matthew?
Some of the things we use the money for is like to go on trips, or if we go down to Charleston to see the senators and governor and all that stuff, we use the money for that. Or if we want to go bowling, we might be able to use the money for that kind of stuff, or to go watch a basketball game or something like that.
Very good. So do you, in your meetings, discuss the things that you'd like to do and then vote on it and determine if you'd like to have a fundraiser and what you'll use it for?
Yes, we do that in our meetings, yes.
Very good. Can you tell us how long you've been involved with People First, or about how long?
But it's probably been about 5, 6, 7, or 8 years.
We always encourage people to, after they've been in for a while, to step up and be an officer. What was your interest in doing that? And how would you encourage others to do the same?
Well, I was at work one day, and Tracy from People First, she came up and said they needed a person to step in to be president of the group because they was kind of getting burnt out with it, and they couldn't find anybody. So I told her, yeah, I would be willing to do that. I would be willing to step in and help out if need be.
And what are the things that you've learned, both from People First and from being president of People First?
I've learned how to write letters to the governor and stuff like that. All these state people better. I've had a lot of help through the years of doing that kind of stuff.
Good. And what are some of the things that you write to them about?
I basically write about what we as a group do and how I kind of introduce myself and kind of introduce what all we're doing and things like that, and kind of tell them a little bit about People First and what People First does and how People First has helped me out through the years. Very
good. So you're introducing them to the importance of self-advocacy.
But I'm wanting to go into the schools in Preston County eventually and get juniors and seniors more involved with the group. Those people who don't know about People First, the ones that have disabilities and things like that. I'm wanting to get those type of people involved too. And I'm wanting to get parents involved with their kids as well.
Very good. That's a great way for them to transition out of school and into something meaningful in the community. I appreciate your wanting to do that. So I'd like to say if there's anything that we can do to support you in that, we'd love to. And then also I'd like to ask a favor, and that is after you do that, share the information with us so that we can encourage people throughout the whole state to make that link as well.
I'll do that, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think that is fantastic as well. And I did just one quick follow-up to that before Liz has our final question that we've been asking everybody. Do you think it would have been handy had you been in People First and had that self-advocacy knowledge while you were in school compared to, I mean, it's great now that you're an adult, but you obviously see the value in learning the self-advocacy skills while you're still in school?
That would have been appreciated if I would have known about People First whenever I was in school. That would have helped me out tremendously. I would have known more basically what I was getting myself into.
Well, that's wonderful that you're able to look at something that would have made your life a little bit better and give back to the community by reaching out to help other people. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And so that brings us to the very last question that we're asking everyone, and that is, what are you doing at this time when things are a little bit crazy and you're stuck at home a little bit more to help keep yourself less stressed out?
I'm actually writing letters, playing games, and talking to my friends on the phone and watching TV.
Well, good. It sounds like you're making some connections. Even if you can't do it in person, you're doing it in different ways.
Matthew Nestor is the president of People First of Morgantown, and we appreciate you joining us. We appreciate your work with People First and how you're working at expanding it into the school system and then sharing us your ideas about jewelry. Thank you very much, Matthew. We appreciate your time.
Stay healthy and safe. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was a lot of great information, and we want to keep providing you interviews that are helpful. If you have an idea for someone we can talk to, just let us know. And if you are doing something fun like gardening or making crafts or painting or even baking, send us pictures. We'd love to see them and share them with everyone.
And if it's something that you think others might like, share the recipe with us. We can share it with everyone that everyone can bake, because I know lots of people have been trying out new things while they're all at home.
Thanks for joining us again today. Talk to you tomorrow.